Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video we're going to be reviewing the Roccat Vulcan TKL Pro. This is Roccat's first entry into the optical keyboard game. This is a very good contender, I think, for the price as well. Huge shout out to Roccat for actually sending out this keyboard a little bit early for review. I have been testing this for about the past week and a half or so, and just want to share my thoughts and opinions with you guys, of course. By the way, guys, huge announcement. I do want to let you guys know that we do officially now have merch on keynerd.com. So not only do we have t-shirts like I'm wearing right now, but we also have hoodies as well. There's a light version and a dark version, and we probably will have more merch rolling out at some point soon. So be sure to check out keynerd.com. Link is in the description below, and use code TooMuchTech for a discount. So guys, first things first, let's go ahead and talk about the build quality of the Vulcan TKL Pro. So number one, let's look at this. We got a detachable USB Type-C cable. Like, applaud. Everyone, the big companies are listening, and they know that we like to customize our keyboard. It's in the middle of the keyboard, so it doesn't really get in the way at all. Good thing it's not on the right side. That is just a big no-no for any gaming focused keyboard. In the middle, could have been on the left, but it's not really that big of a deal. But I do like the fact that it is there. Actually, since I got this thing unplugged, let's go ahead and take a look at the underside. So plastic bottom, we do have these rubber feet right here as well, and then we do have 2 feet for one level of height adjustability. So I personally think that this angle is very comfortable for typing and gaming with the height adjustment on. So without that, it's just a little bit too low for my liking, which is fine, but it just seems a little too low. Could I get used to it? Yes, but it's not my preferred. So I'm glad that they did have this level of height adjustability. That is perfect. This top plate right here is like a brushed aluminum material, your traditional 10 keyless or 75% layout. You do have a volume knob here and then a mute switch here. And then you got some other media controls printed on the keycaps as well. So it just makes it really easy to control like your multimedia experience without having to exit your app while you're, for example, playing a game, streaming, whatever the case may be. Now, in terms of the keycaps, these are ABS keycaps, and they're okay. I actually like the feeling quite a bit because they have like this really nice matte texture to them, but it does collect and show a lot of skin oils on the keys. So it gives the impression that the keyboard is dirty a lot. I just wish that they would have used double shot PBT. Now, I know that they do have these pretty unique low profile keycaps because the switch actually, the actuation is pretty long, and so I'll let you guys see here real quick. The stem on the keycap is actually really long. So unfortunately, when you swap out the keycaps, it doesn't give you the same experience that you get while you're using the stock Vulcan keycaps. So it changes the bottom out quite a bit, and I'm not the biggest fan of that because that's one level of customization that you kind of lose with this keyboard, is that you can't swap out the keycaps and get the exact same experience. Now, this I think is okay because the actuation still works fine, so you are still able to use a different keycap set on this keyboard. It doesn't feel exactly the same, but you are still able to do it. So if you want to customize it, you can, and it's not a bad base to do so because the rest of the keyboard is very good. That's just one thing I wanted to mention if you are interested in swapping out the keycaps. It just more so has to do with the construction of the keycaps. Like, there's that little support line that's going to the center of the stem, whereas on the Roccat that is not present. So this will get a lower bottom out than a traditional keycap will. And obviously, because you can't swap out the USB Type-C cable that's included with the box, I chose to go with a black on black cable from customkeys.net. You can check these out. I will have a link in the description below in case you guys were curious. Let's talk about these Titan optical switches. So these are very good in my opinion. Throughout the entire switch press, the feeling is very smooth. I wouldn't say it feels lube because it doesn't feel lube, but it is pretty smooth. I would say the feeling is very similar to something like a KL red switch. It feels very similar, which I'm a big fan of the KL red switches on any keyboard that I've tried that's had them. They're like one of the smoothest stock switches in my opinion. With that being said, and this switch feeling very similar to it, I like that quite a bit. Now, in terms of the actuation, it actuates at 1.4 millimeters, which isn't necessarily the fastest actuation. Technically, the Apex Pro can actuate in as little as 0.4 millimeters because it's an analog switch and you can change the actuation. It's an optical keyboard that's going to be very similar to something that like Razer uses, where you just have the light, and then once that line or connection is broken, it then actuates the switch. But the difference between the Vulcan TKL Pro and something like a Razer Huntsman, the Razer Huntsman, I'm not gonna lie to you, is kind of hard to type on and do regular things with because the actuation is just way too soon for anything other than literally playing Fortnite. Everybody knows that you will have some accidental key presses on the Razer Huntsman, and that doesn't make it a bad keyboard because it's not. It's a good product. But if you use your keyboard for more than just playing games and high octane activities where you need lightning fast keystrokes, this will give you a very similar feeling performance wise and the usability for doing other things like typing or just general keyboard use. This is easier to use than a Razer Huntsman. And because it's also optical and it has that later actuation, you now have the opportunity to halfway bottom out the keyboard on your upstroke. You can now double press it very quick to get very fast reactions out of your keyboard. So in terms of typing and gaming performance of the Titan Opticals, I like them quite a bit because they're a lot more versatile than something that's in the Razer counterpart. The Steel series is a whole nother discussion because that one is adjustable. So you can have a game mode and have a typing setting, I guess, for the Apex Pro, where this, it's all in one. Now there is a game mode on this keyboard as well if you press function and then hit the page down button. I don't really know what it does other than disable the Windows key, but it doesn't make the actuation or reaction any faster, which isn't really the end of the world. Like this, like I said, the usability is just a lot better. After that sound test, let's talk about those stabilizers, because Roccat, you did it. These are some of the best stabilizers on any pre-built keyboard, in my opinion, out today. This is like on the same level as like Ducky and Pro 2. Like those keyboards are also known for having really good stabilizers, and I would put this on that same level. Like these are very good. I'm surprised that on their first attempt at an optical keyboard that these stabilizers are this good and they didn't try to reinvent the wheel or do something crazy. Like, I applaud them. They're fantastic. No rattle or wobble or anything like that. It's just very smooth and consistent, and the sound is great. Now, in terms of the Swarm software, basically it was only useful to like change the different RGB modes that you see on the keyboard. Other than that, there wasn't really much else that I found was useful in the software. But if you want to swap the RGB modes, just press the function button and use the left and right arrow keys to swap between the different modes of the RGB. Now, the static colors you can't change on the keyboard itself, to my knowledge. That is something that you would do in the Swarm software. Overall, this keyboard is very impressive. Like, Roccat absolutely knocked it out of the park with this board. This Vulcan TKL Pro is one of my favorite keyboards of the year that have come out. Like, these stabilizers, really impressive. They came out and put USB Type-C in the middle of the keyboard so you can use custom keycaps. The usability is better than the competition, in my opinion, and the price is pretty competitive. So this keyboard is 160 bucks. Then they have the non-optical version, which also has a linear Titan switch as well. That keyboard is 130 bucks. And then they do have a full-size version if you do need a full-size keyboard. That one is $199. Now, for all three set keyboards, I do think that those prices are fair. So if you want the optical performance, it's only an extra 30 bucks, 160 bucks. If you don't mind not having optical and you want to save a little bit of money, you can get basically the exact same experience with the Vulcan TKL for $130. So if you guys are interested in these keyboards, we'll have them linked in the description below. But that pretty much rounds out my opinion. It does get the recommend for me 100%. It's a really good board. I enjoyed using it quite a bit. But all right, guys, that is going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel as well. Thanks Roccat once again for sending out this keyboard for review. Very good product, highly recommend it. I will catch you guys in the next video. Be sure to drop by the Discord as well. We probably have some giveaways going on currently. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Links to everything in the description below. I will catch you guys in the next video.